Right, I think we're live, fingers crossed. So welcome to Umbraco Community Office Hours. Hope you've all had a fab New Year and Christmas and refreshed for 2022. But today I'm joined by the fabulous Kim and Filip, CEO and CTO. How are you both doing?
Pretty good, thank you.
Very well, thank you. Very well, thank you. I like your shirt, Warren.
Hang on. I didn't realize I need to put on my business tie. I'm talking with the big bosses, so there we go. I feel I'm better suited now.
That's appropriate.
Very much, and I like the color.
Perfect. Just for you, Kim. Just for you. So everyone watching live, I know there's a box. I'm going to point to the wrong direction, but on the left, on the right, you can type away and start asking questions to these two fabulous people. But whilst we do that, I'm going to see if I can figure out this poll. So let's see if this works. And I want to know, is this the first time attending Community Office Hours live? If it is, so gentlemen, how was New Year's and Christmas for you both?
If I start first, I was in Sweden. I have a cabin in the middle of a forest, so it became dark around 4 p.m. and remained dark until 8 a.m. Next morning. Nothing much going on other than the wild boars. So no partying. Very easy and relaxing.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think for me it was very much family time. I have 3 kids, 10 and younger, so lots of presents and excitement and fireworks for New Year's and all that stuff. Good times. Good
stuff. So with that, whilst we've just been chatting, I'm going to attempt to show these results on screen. It's quite interesting. 3/4 of you have obviously watched an office hours before, and 1/4 of you, this is the first time tuning in. So kudos. Make sure to tune in next time. This is a regular thing. So I know that we got quite a few questions listed over in this Google Docs. I think we should just jump straight into the questions and fire away. So I've got one from Jason Elkin who asks, do we have a date for Codegarden 2022 yet? I don't know who wants to take that.
I can go. We are currently finalizing the planning for Codegarden, and also under the impression of the recent development in the pandemic with the Omicron and the shutdowns we've seen in especially in Europe. Following that, but I would expect that their plan ready next week, and then we will start communicating. But it will be around mid-June-ish. Please note the ish.
Yeah. I suppose the uncertainty with everything with Corona, the ish is okay. So
yeah, and it's we don't want to end in the same situation as the Dutch user group did with the Dutch conference, having to go completely virtual over less than 48 hours due to the shutdown in the Netherlands.
Yeah,
that was pretty impressive though.
Kudos
Arnold
and team. Yeah,
amazing work. We could only be impressed.
Yeah. Is the plan, Kim, still to be hybrid event? I know there's quite a few people still keen to attend Codegarden, but may not be able to attend physically in person for one reason or another.
The ambition is to be hybrid to some sort. And what is hybrid? Well, it's a mix between online and people joining in person. But to what degree people are joining in person, the amount, the numbers, and so on and so forth, that's still open. We also see we have experienced people coming from an island or far abroad not being able to drive to and from an event. Will that be possible? We've seen tough travel restrictions being in place. So people leaving, say, Australia had to wait 6-9 months before they could re-enter. So obviously these things we need to take into consideration on that. But the ambition is a hybrid event.
Okay, cool. Maybe this one's for you, Filip, next. So the next question asks, can we still and in the future rely on the option to download and host Umbraco as a free open source solution by NuGet? What are the limitations compared to the paid cloud hosting? So I suppose this is Umbraco always going to stay free and open source is probably the crux of that question.
Yes. So that was a pretty straightforward answer. Yes, the value of Umbraco is the community and the open source of it, and everything around it, the ecosystem. Making it closed source would be stupid and wouldn't make any sense. So no, you can count on Umbraco CMS staying open source. And as to what the difference is, what the limitations are, of course that's a discussion or a dilemma we face every day at HQ. What features should be a commercial product and what should be part of the open source one, it's a good question. We're continuing to work on that. We want the CMS to stay, the open source CMS to stay relevant, to stay attractive. That's where the reason why the Umbraco as a company is successful is because of the open source CMS. So we want to keep that a super great product. But of course, there's stuff like all the stuff that we have in cloud is infrastructure and setup and hosting and all that stuff, and of course that can't be free, and of course we have to pay the bills somehow. So I think the trade-off that we have currently is pretty good, and I think we'll continue to expand on options and in the paid software, and I'm sure we'll continue to add lots of cool stuff to the open source project as well.
If I may add something to what Filip just said. We are looking for a symbiotic relationship between the free products and the paid products. So whenever we are doing something in cloud, as we did with Umbraco ID, that trickled down into the CMS. So symbiotic relationship between the paid and the free, making each other stronger and better.
Yeah, that's fab to hear. This is probably a question for you, Kim. So the question asks, I personally like the topic of DXP. As a business associate, I would like to know more about the DXP unique selling point compared to other DXPs available in the market.
Yes, that's a good question. I don't know all the other DXPs out there in the markets, their value prop, but I know that our value proposition is that you as a client, a customer, can choose your preferred tech stack as you see fit, and enabling you shorter time to market, shorter development time, taking time out of the process. And this is us staying true to our mission of making Umbraco simpler. So building composing your tech stack as you see fit in an as easy and less time-consuming way for you as an agency, or for your client, or if you are a direct client because you have your own web development capabilities, then for you putting things out in front of your audience. And it is and has been the idea of Umbraco since the foundation to make things more simple, whether it's the CMS or whether it's the cloud offering we have, that it's taking time out of your processes around things that perhaps should be automated. That's what we are trying to do. We will. It's still early days with the composable DXP, but I would recommend to stay tuned to our comms, and we will communicate more on this. And we also have an ambition of adding elements on the DXP, on the composable DXP, on our roadmap and on our communication platforms.
See a lot of nodding, Filip. Anything there? or just nods?
Yes, I mean, all the way through, I was thinking that I'm gonna say this when he's done, and then he started saying it. But I mean, to me, the value prop is the composability of the way we think of a DXP, whereas some of the more traditional DXPs, they're basically the good old suite where if you pick this CMS, then you always have to pick this commerce engine and this marketing engine. And I think the beauty of how we think DXP is the composability of it, where you can pick whatever tools you like the best, or maybe that you currently already use. And I think that's a big strength of it. And that also means that the lifetime of the different parts of your DXP doesn't need to be the same, which means that when you get sick of your commerce engine, you can switch that out and keep the rest of your stack. Whereas if you're in the classic suite thinking, then it's very hard to switch out one part without switching out the rest of it.
Cool. Just as a reminder, I don't know if everyone is still watching. I can see hello to John Seto, Matthew Hart in the chat, along with Shanice and Cornet. Good to see you all. Make sure to use that chat box on the left to ask those questions. So one for you, Filip. Will there be future technical support or documentation in place from migrating from older versions of Umbraco to Umbraco 10?
When we released 9, we had some, and we have some pretty great documentation on how to upgrade from 8 to 9, and from 7 to 8 was the same. We had some guidelines and some articles and stuff. We'll probably have the same from 9 to 10 and above that. But one thing to note is that after after 9, major releases are going to be a lot more frequent and thus a lot smaller and simpler. So migrating is no longer going to be a big task. It's more, you can think of it almost like you can upgrading from 8.12 to 8.17 or something like that. So it's a little more than just a single minor, but it's nowhere close to a big update like you're used to. So everybody working on Umbraco 9 today should be able to go to 10 very smoothly.
Yeah, very nice. I like the way to see it as you are constantly upgrading, I don't know, your iOS apps or your apps on your phone and things like that. It will just be painless and seamless. So yeah, very nice.
Yeah, and we want the experience in cloud to be so that so if you're on 8 today, we automatically upgrade you on the minor that you're on. So we do automatic patch upgrades. We want to get to a place where we can do automatic updates of minors as well in cloud, so that you're always on the newest minor for the major that you're on. And then the major updates is just going to be a button like today, where there's take me to 10, take me to 11. It's just a click of a button and then you're upgraded. So it'll be super easy. And I mean, with the new cadence, that's going to be twice a year that you have to log in and do something. Other than that, you'll always be updated and be on the newest version. I think that's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's very, very nice. Next question I have is when will the new back office be ready to release? One that I know you'd love to talk about, Filip.
That's an easy one.
I want to hear that as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Kim, you can't listen right now. I mean, the new back office is a pretty huge project. So to take it from the start to and not assume that everybody knows what's going on. The current back office is built with some legacy technology, and we want to get rid of that. So about a year ago, we released a plan that has 3 steps to it. The first one is building out a UI library that has all the UI components in a non-framework specific fashion, so you can use them with whatever framework you'd like. Then the second part is actually building out what the API should be like, so how we intend it to feel like or to be like when you want to build a property editor or a dashboard or whatever, like you know from today. And that part has just finished a couple of weeks ago. We closed the RFC with a lot of community inputs and stuff. So that's in a really good place now, and the API is looking pretty sleek and attractive, if you ask me. And then the last part is the actual re-implementation. And note that I said re-implementation. This is not a migration. This is basically rewriting all of the back office that you know today. So that is a pretty huge task, and it will take a while to get there. Of course, we've manned up pretty significantly, men and women, on the front end capabilities in Umbraco. A year ago, it was 1 person doing front end stuff, and now there's 5 full-time people working on front end. And that means that hopefully we can do it faster. And of course, a lot of it will be community involvement. We will start a community team, like you know from the Unicore project, the project that led us to Umbraco 9 on .NET Core. We'll do a similar thing, and of course, community work all in all. So all of that to say, I don't really know yet. Our current estimates are 4,000 or 5,000 hours or something like that for the project, which is a pretty big chunk. And of course, we can't have people working only on this. We still also have to maintain 10 and maintain the cloud portal and do all the other front end work that HQ does. But as soon as we get a little bit into the actual into the actual development, and we have a plan, then we'll share the plan, so it's out there in the open and people can see it, know what to expect, and I mean, we intend to run this kind of like we did with the Unicore project. So having early alphas and betas that people can try out and see how it works and see how it feels, and people can start contributing, and package authors can start migrating their stuff, and yeah. So it'll be a long process, but it'll be a good process, and I hope that everybody will be involved.
Yeah, that's very nice. Did that answer your question, Kim? Do you now know? Perfect. So yeah, I like the way that this project is at least broken up into phases, like you said, with the UI library, then the API structure. And I know internally that the UI library is already getting dog-fooded in terms of the Umbraco Cloud portal and stuff like that. So it's nice to see these kind of smaller parts come together to hopefully reach that bigger goal when we get the new back office eventually.
Yes.
But like you say, big project, it's not a thing that's going to happen overnight.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the good things, or one of the things that I like with this approach is that not only can we start dogfooding parts of it in our other applications, but you can actually start using the UI library in the current Umbraco back office if you want to. So if you want to try it out with one of your packages or some of the dashboards or whatever that you're building, there's nothing holding you back from using it today. Even if it's modern technology, it works with the old AngularJS stuff that it's in the current back office. So we've seen lots of examples of that already, and that's pretty cool. And I mean, the more you get used to working with web components and the UI library, the easier time you'll have when we actually get there.
Yeah, for sure. Another question that I've just seen in the chat from John Seto says, will Umbraco 9 or Umbraco 9 move to .NET 6 soon? Because .NET 5 end of life is this year.
Yeah, so actually, Umbraco 9 works with .NET 6 already. There will be, when we ship, since it's a breaking change, there's a new major from .NET. We can't do an upgrade inside of Umbraco 9. But when we release Umbraco 10, that will be .NET 6. And that is scheduled for May. So in 4.5 months or something like that, we will have Umbraco running on .NET 6. But as I said, you can do it today. I think the main difference for those of us who've been working with it for a while is that there's no longer a tight connection between .NET, like the platform, and then ASP.NET, the web framework, which means that we will, like, the way you run it today is that you can use .NET 6 with ASP.NET 5, and that's what runs Umbraco. So that will mean you have some of the new C#, whatever number that's at now, features available, but the underlying web framework is still the same, but from Umbraco 10, so in 4.5 months, it's all going to be ASP.NET 6 and .NET 6. And I mean, there's already a branch out there. There's nightly builds already for 10. So if you want to try it out today, you can just run that and it works. So if you asked me if I was going to start a project now that wouldn't go live until summer, I would probably start on that.
Okay, that's a nice recommendation to at least try V10 and live on the bleeding edge. But yeah, like I said, we're gonna move quick.
Bleeding edge forever.
Yeah. Perfect. But yeah, I know that part of this has been in terms to sync with the .NET release cycle as well, in terms of, is it V11 we should be in sync with the .NET team in terms of .NET 7?
So it's not an accident that it's May. It's because May is 6 months from November, and November is when Microsoft shipped new versions of .NET. So when there's .NET 7 in November of this year, that just a couple of weeks after that, we will have Umbraco 11 then running on .NET 7. And we're also aligning the LTS versions so that when there is an LTS version of .NET, the Umbraco versions that's right after that one will be LTS as well. So you can stay on a long-term supported version of your entire platform should you not be able to upgrade.
Okay, perfect. You mentioned community teams, Filip. So is there going to be any more new community teams coming this year? Is there going to be any changes? Obviously, with the core project now live, it's obviously now like a retired team.
Yeah, we retired the Unicore team. We're still thinking about how do we make sure that we still have that outside-in perspective on the CMS as well. So how do we make sure that we have a community team working on the CMS? So we will look into that. Then I said we have the back office team or the front end team or whatever you want to call them. And that has started, and until now it has worked more or less as a sounding board, or like where we would try out ideas before it made it into the RFC. And that team will kind of change into more of a team that helps with implementation as well, and architectural stuff on the new back office. So that will merge or like change over the next months. And as for new teams, I think we started talking about doing community teams for some of our commercial products, because we think there is actually a pretty valid use case for that as well. So we'll probably start out with one for hardcore, but the details aren't specified yet, so I can't tell you anything specific. But if you're really into headless and how that works with Umbraco and hardcore, you should watch out for the blog and apply once that's out.
I'm muted.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I don't hear what you're saying.
Little, Zoom call stuff or whatever. I think we're wrapping it up in terms of questions. However, I probably want to just recap from the New Year's reception. Kim, what's kind of the highlights in terms of your perspective, where we're heading for 2022? Where's obviously bigger, better, stronger, but where's Umbraco heading for 2022?
I would like to draw your attention to our new vision that was announced in a blog post last week, where I try to draw up what is the direction Umbraco will take in the coming years, and that's a new vision starting January 1st. And unlike the older vision we had, it is far more about positioning Umbraco and where we would like to position ourselves in the market, and what key markets. So far more detailed than the previous one we had, which was very much about reach, getting 1 million up and running on Umbraco. That's a very exciting part of Umbraco. One of the things that is that we are very adamant on is that we want Umbraco Cloud to be the best place to host Umbraco. We want a solid hardcore experience, and we want to continue develop the CMS, innovate the CMS together with a growing and thriving community. Then we want to stick to or continue to have the best editor experience, and we want to be the most loved CMS by developers. Two strongholds we hold, and we want to continue to be that, and work on that and expand on that. Then you might experience that we are a bit more focused on what markets we are going into. We have 4 key markets: Nordics, NL, the Netherlands, and surrounding areas of that, UK, and then US. Mm-hmm. So we will be building organizations locally, regional, in these areas in order to support the business that we want to achieve. Over time, that will be full-fledged, not only sales and support, but could also very well be developers, as we already have in UK, or developer advocates, DevRel. So across the board of functions within a company.
Perfect. Question that's just come up, and I must admit, I don't actually know this sometimes. What does actually DXP stand for, and what does it actually mean? We use this term time and time again, and I just politely nod and just go, yes. Is it like one of those?
Boss.
Yes, boss. Buzzword.
Yeah, exactly. DXP is a digital experience platform, and I mean, a lot of what we talk about when we talk about DXP is trying to market Umbraco a little bit differently than we have previously. We've always been pretty good with talking to developers. Over the years, we got pretty good at talking to agencies, and I think where we're going now is starting to talk more to the actual end clients of the agencies, or of Umbraco itself. And for those out there that are decision makers, especially in the maybe upper market enterprise kind of setups, they very much look for DXPs. They want the promise of the integrated experience for editors, where they can see all of their products and all of their web content and all of their marketing contacts and all of it, see all of it flow together in a very nice unified way. And that's the promise that DXP gives you. And those of us who've been working with Umbraco for a while, we know that, of course you can build that with Umbraco. That's what Umbraco is good at. It's flexible. You can bend it any way you want. But it's when people hear you can do anything with Umbraco, it comes up to their imagination. And we want to switch it around so that it's clear that when you Google Umbraco plus HubSpot, or Umbraco plus Salesforce, or Umbraco plus Commerce Tools, or whatever SaaS platform out there, something should show up that says this is already done, or this is easily done, or this is how you do it. So sometimes it could be like an integration that we've built, maybe an example integration, maybe it's a blog post, maybe there's an official integration because someone has built an integration themselves, or maybe there's even an agency that builds an integration because they want to be the ones that has the official Salesforce integration for Umbraco or something like that. So the point is that the more integrations out there that already exists, the more we show up when people is searching for DXPs, and that's the position that we want to have. And I mean, the way we make that happen is that we make it attractive to build those integrations. So sometimes these integrations are full-fledged products. They can be like your commerce solution or whatever. Sometimes they're paid integrations. Sometimes the integration is free because the SaaS platform is something you pay for. And we want to make sure that there's a good return on investment for whoever actually builds the integration, no matter what where they are in that matrix. So that's kind of how we think of the DXP and how Umbraco fits into that. I hope that kind of clears up our the question. Kim, do you have anything to add to that?
And on the points of also wanting to target the CMOs is that it's 20 years ago the first ish when the web came about and the world started to become digital. So there's many seasoned CMOs who have tried to implement not only once but perhaps twice a CMS, and they have a far more saying in this than previously. So we are seeing a shift towards end clients to a larger extent than previously. So that's also part of the equation for us doing this.
Okay, cool. I know that we've talked about growth and plans for growing in the US market. Is there anything specific that we got in mind? How are we going to conquer the world? How are we going to conquer US, Kim?
I'm a Dane, so it's rape and plunder. That's not the ancestors.
Perfect. We'll just get on our backing ships and off we go.
No. He established an office in the US 2 years ago, and then COVID happened, so it's been quiet. In order to grow in the US, you need to have feet on the ground, and therefore we are currently having 5 staff members in the US. So that's a 3 up from November 1st. We have open positions, both sales and marketing, and DevRel as important thing. One thing, talking about the Umbraco community, the community is very strong in Europe. But the US community is relatively small, and it's scattered all around the US. So we need to build a community the American way, which is not necessarily the English way or the UK way or the Nordic way or the Dutch way, but get a community engagement going in the US. So we need a DevRel person on that. There's many things that's other than what we all know, that US is 50 different markets and not one. Then the American way is somewhat different from the European way, and we need to find the right way into the hearts of the American developers. So that's important thing. We're talking about three personas. There's the agencies, there's the developers, and then there's the end clients, typically in that context, the CMOs.
Okay, perfect. Ravi asks in the chat, is there a specific set of integrations you would like us in the community to make, or just picking one as an example, Salesforce? I assume that's just referring back to the DXP stuff, Philip.
Well,
I have one that I would like Ravi to build an integration into his brain.
I don't think that's possible, Kim.
I don't think our data model can fit so complex things. No, I mean, we of course appreciate help. If you want to help on something specific, I think Andy is the go-to, or I know Andy is the go-to in D team, and he can tell you what they're working on right now and how you can help with that. I think more than that, or like the overall or the better long-term answer for that is build what you need. So when you encounter an integration, or the integration that you see your agency doing over and over again for a customer, try to make it into something generic and put it out there on NuGet, and that's a big help. Exactly that. The point is that when people then search for Umbraco and that thing, the next time they find the setup on on NuGet or wherever your package is on our.
Nice. So Philip, we didn't really get to talk about your kind of future goals in terms of product and tech for 2022. So where do you see us going, Umbraco going in 2022?
Well, I think I talked about at least a little bit about the CMS already with .NET 6, and there's some technical things that we want to add as well as part of Umbraco 10. For features, it's gonna be editor-facing features that may be a little bit more enterprisey, or a little bit more to cater for bigger projects. So something like more precise permissions in the back office. You could imagine users having access to only one variant or one language, or something like that. That might be a good feature that we know people are asking for. I personally really like the new block that we got in the block list, but I would like to see a grid based on the new block. I think that would be pretty sweet. And then expanding on that block concept some more, being able to do variations per block instead of having to do it all by the property. Being able to maybe reuse blocks from one page to another in an easy way, and lots of stuff like this that we're looking into and planning what will make it into Umbraco 10, what will be on 11 and 12 and so on. So that's for the CMS. The overall thing for cloud, or the first thing for cloud, is the US data center.
That's a huge thing.
That is a pretty huge thing. We're working on the plan right now for when, and as soon as we have a timeline, we can't wait to share it publicly. But that will be, I think that will be a game changer also for the US market, as Kim talked about. It will make our cloud offering a lot more relevant for the US market. other than that, I think it's a lot about the developer experience. When we see developers being, there's a shortage of developers everywhere, right? Scarcity, and that means that spend your developers wisely. Have them work on something that's fun instead of doing repetitive tasks or tasks that should be automated or something like that. And that's what we want to help you do. So that's everything from the automatic upgrades that we already do in cloud, but more stuff like that, making it easier, making you save time and save money when you use cloud. I think that's the next focus in cloud.
Yep. Anything for hardcore?
Yeah, hardcore. We're working on a dedicated roadmap just for hardcore because hardcore has gone from being a smaller thing in Umbraco to being a pretty significant part of our offering. There's lots of traction, lots of interest in the market, lots of people signing up for trials and stuff, and we've turned that over in our heads and made a dedicated product team that works on hardcore with 4 people full time working on hardcore from January here. So they're working on the plan for specific features and when and what order and stuff. But I know that a lot of people have asked me about enterprise features like second factor authentication for the back office and stuff like this, and that's on the roadmap. I can say for sure. Umbraco ID and then two-factor for all of Umbraco ID. So it's not only for hardcore projects but for all projects on cloud.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Very
and then
nice.
the DXPs things. I mean, I think I mentioned, I talked about that already. One of the things that I maybe didn't mention is we're kind of, or we're combining the efforts that we have on umbraco.com/apps with our.umbraco.com package section. So we're building like a unified marketplace that takes all of the packages directly from NuGet, so that it's easy for you as a developer. You don't have to submit your packages twice and maintain them twice and stuff. You just put them where you normally would, and then they come into our catalog, and that's more geared towards SEO and stuff, so that when people actually Google for Umbraco and some integration, they find that and not some weird old blog post from 97. But they actually find the listing on the marketplace.
Nice. I've got a question from Dean. Dean Lee asks, what you're most excited about coming up in .NET? I don't know if you've got an opinion, Philip.
That's a tough question. Maybe you should answer that, Warren. You're more of you're a more recent developer than me.
Yeah, maybe hot reload and .NET 6. Some of the new features are pretty exciting. So we'll see where it goes in the future. But I know in terms of the new front end, we've obviously got web components coming down the line, and I know that's going to be quite an exciting change for the package development community. So I'm looking forward to see where that goes. Ravi quickly asks, any plans to update R as an overall product? So see R Umbraco as a product, like the CMS, the cloud, and so on.
Yeah. So
yes,
for anybody who might not know, our Umbraco is its own open source project. It runs on a very pretty old Umbraco 7 install, and we're considering it legacy. We started moving stuff out of our Umbraco. The community site that used to be part of that is now part of the .com website, or you go to community.umbraco.com. That's basically what was previously on the our side. And I think we will see that with more and more sections now. As I said, the marketplace replacing the packages section. That's the overall strategy. It will take a while. There's lots of stuff on our, and we don't have a plan for replacing all of them yet. We're moving away from a dedicated site like that into more smaller niche sites, or whatever you want to say.
Okay, so
And-
that would be the documentation and the forums and things like that as well. Then,
Yeah, I can perhaps shed some light on at least the documentation part of it. We are looking into a change of that, but not only the platform, but look at how can we use documentation in a broader sense. For instance, to attract new developers to the Umbraco community. That's also an important component of the documentation we have, other than you should easily gain access to your desired documentation. We are looking at this this year, but unlike Filip, I'm not obliged to set any deadlines and delivery dates. So I will
you're the
refrain.
big boss. You can do whatever you want, Kim.
But we are very well aware of our being obsolete in some ways.
Okay.
Cool.
Is there anything else that we highlights for 2022 that we haven't discussed, gentlemen?
I would love to have a beer with Ravi.
Don't we all?
I'll take one for the team. Let me have it with him.
Perfect.
Cool.
With that being said, I think we're going to wrap up, and I'm going to put the last poll and on the screen whilst we wrap up. So yeah, just as a note, we have previous community office hours. Excuse me, community office hours over on YouTube. So make sure to go and check those out. And the next one, I've been told, is on the 26th of January, all about Umbraco Cloud. So all those burning questions that you have about Umbraco Cloud, data centers, and I don't know, all the tech behind it, then make sure you join in for the next office hours and have those questions answered. Thanks for joining, gentlemen. It's been lovely to chat to you both. I will hopefully get to see you one day in real life again soon, once the world doesn't implode. And,
Please.
Yes. Good chatting, and yeah, I'll catch up with you all soon.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.